One of my favorite things I just discovered doing this is when I go into the rap expecting it to be cool, and I do this breakdown of it myself and transcribe the rap. And it's even cooler than I thought it was. Bruh, I love Changbin. This is why he's one of my favorite rappers, man. Like, I can literally think something is cool, and then even for me, I break it down and realize it's even cooler. I don't know how to explain this, but let me explain it to you guys, because I wanted to make a video on Venom anyways, because I think it is a pretty cool sounding rap, and I wanted to show you guys why it sounds different or weird. At least it does to my ear, and I wanted to highlight it. And because I did that, I now get to show you guys why this is actually super unique and some stuff that I've never even seen done in K-pop raps before. So let's dive into this, shall we? There's just so much to talk about. You can see I've broken down and transcribed the entire flow here. If you do not know how this works, it's pretty simple. On the bottom right here, that's the flow. That's the rhythm of the rap, the rhythm of Changbin's words. On the top is the cadence. Those are the words or syllables he is emphasizing, if you will. So that is basically what you're looking at right here, and it's written out musically. So if you're a musical person that can read this, congratulations. You can understand it better than most people. But let's dive into this and what actually makes it cool. So you guys have heard me say before, probably my favorite thing in rapping, my favorite flow, is a dotted eighth note flow. I don't know, it just sounds so pulled back and off the beat. It can also be considered kind of similar to a quarter note triplet, but I just prefer, like, you know, in my head, dotted eighth notes. They're just more fun to write and stuff. Anyways, so dotted eighth note flows are just so much fun to me. And I've said that before. And then Changbin comes in with Venom and literally has an entire rap just based around a dotted eighth note flow. Like, that's what this rap is based around it. If we just start at the beginning, let's count how many dotted eighth note cadences and or actual flow there are in 8 bars. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 dotted eighth notes, and they're not even just in a row, because you can only put like 6 of them in one measure. So you could do like 14 if you did 2.5 measures straight of just da 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 da. Like, you could do that, but he just like made an entire thing around it, and that is so fun to me. Let me point out why, though, and the actual really cool parts of this that I wanted to emphasize. So first off, it might sound a little bit off because he doesn't start on beat 1, which a lot of people like to point out on rappers in K-pop don't start on beat 1, and they go, they're off beat. No, they're not. What? You don't have to start on beat 1. He starts on beat 3 on the first measure, and then when on the third measure, he does a pickup to beat 3, which is the end of 2 into beat 3. Either way, always fun to hear them starting off time, like off when you normally would expect it on beat 1. I don't know, super simple. That's nothing special, but I just think that sounds cool. It adds a little unique thing to it on top of that. So basically, in the first 4 measures, it's a pretty similar flow. Like, he changes it up a little bit. Like, you can see some differences here and there, but the main thing is that he has this pattern of a dotted eighth note cadence over top. The actual flow actually only has about 3 dotted eighth notes in it. But where he points it out is he has an emphasis on that dotted eighth note feel while doing more flow under, like more rhythm under it with different rhythms and everything. So you can see here he has like a dotted eighth note cadence in the first bar, and under that he has a 3E right? So he has that cadence of 3 which is a dotted eighth note into the 16th note of but under it he's not doing that. So he just has this feel of a dotted eighth note. And then you get to measure 5, which is where he goes in with the dotted eighth notes, right? And this is what I just was going to be. This is why it sounds weird, because he's doing dotted eighth notes, and you don't really hear that too much. Like, they're a thing, but they're not that common in K-pop rapping. But these aren't normal dotted eighth notes, y'all. And that's why I came away so excited. Like, literally. Do you see the second rest right here? That's not normal. He's starting the dotted eighth notes a 16th note before you would. Like, I thought he was starting it on 2. He's starting it on the of 1. What? That's so weird. And it sounds good. And he makes it so he starts it on the of 1, so it perfectly ends. before the start of the next bar, which was the whole point. Just go. Either way, it's super clever. It's super mind-boggling to me because I didn't even think about it when listening to it, and then they go into put it together, and I'm going to put it on the beat too, and I'm like, why isn't this lining up? Like, these are dotted eighth notes, but why are they lining up? Because they're a 16th beat note earlier than you would think, and it just blew my mind that he did this, and I am in love with it. I can't stress that enough. And again, this might be something that happens in Western hip-hop and K-hip-hop a lot more often because I don't actually break down every single thing I hear in K-hip-hop and Western hip-hop and everything. But in terms of K-pop, this is the type of shit I never see, and why I adore Changbin as a rapper, because of the way he plays with these rhythms. It's just so much fun. But if we keep going, I mean, that's the coolest part right there, that measure 5 that I just pointed out. But keep it going. Also really cool, he throws in a triplet at Criminal. Has a little triplet thrown in there for no reason, which I love that he does, because a lot of people just don't use triplets unless the entire thing is about triplets. So I love that he includes that more. And then he finishes it off with the way he started, which is the way I love how rappers can develop things. And I feel like that's one of the weak parts of K-pop rapping, is I feel like their raps don't develop. But Changbin in 8 bars can definitely do it. He comes back to the beginning with a dotted eighth note cadence feel over top of a more complex flow under it. I don't know. He goes back to what he was doing in the beginning, basically. He throws it all together. He climaxes it at that measure 5/6 area, and then he pulls it back and brings it back to where it started. And I love how rappers can tell a story with rhythm. That's the type of stuff I look for when I'm listening to flow, and how the flow relates. Like, this beginning is similar to the end with this climax in the middle. I love that. That's why Venom is so good to me. I think it sounds so good, and I think it just sounds weird because he's actually doing more complex shit. It just sounds so good to me, and I love it. I'm so happy with this verse. Changbin, shout out to you. I'm so happy I actually sat down to break this down, because it's so much better than I even thought it was, that I gave it the time of day because it's so good. So yes, shout out Changbin. I can't wait to break down more of these verses off the new album. This Stray Kids album has been so good to me. It's been my favorite album in so long from them. I am so happy. But leave me your thoughts about this verse down in the comments below. If you learned anything, if I did anything wrong, which I very well could have, please correct me down in the comments below. I'd love to talk about it. Come join us on Discord. I am also in Seoul right now. If you happen to live in Seoul, or be in Seoul, or visiting Seoul, or school in Seoul, or whatever it is, let me know. I'd love to meet up. And yeah, thank you all for watching. And as always, K-pop and chill the safe way.
답이 너네 모두 꺼주시오 한국말로 하자니요 색하네요 스타일도 바꿨지 이제 내랑 비교 마시오 나한테 내 소리란 거 처음 해보지요 영어 빼고 말해 내 피부 노란색 그래 앞에 번호 8이잖아 빨리 전화해 네가 아는 여자애들 싹 다 불러 오늘 밤은 불지를 거니까 폰을 꺼두기로 해